A number of headlines to run through. Let's start with what's happening in Washington. Actually, again, as Kilmeny was reporting, another bus of migrants is expected to arrive in Washington, D.C., following the direction of Governor Greg Abbott here. The White House calls it a political stunt. Is it one?
You know, that's a sad commentary on their view of what's going on at the border, that this is a political stunt. We're desperate for help. They refuse to give it. They're ignoring federal law. And we have long-term consequences. People are dying from drug overdoses. They're empowering the cartels. They're basically in business with the cartels because they incentivize the cartels to bring as many people to them, and they take the handoff and move them around the country. So it's devastating to our state. In the end, we're all going to be border states because these people are being transported by the administration in the middle of the night all over the country, and it will affect every state in this country.
Well, a number of states are taking note, with the Republican governors actually rolling out a 26-state border task force to tackle illegal migration here. We've got a Newsmax headline to show that. But tell me, AG, what does it mean to have states leaders who are clearly not border states really sound the alarm about what's happening?
Well, first of all, I applaud Governor Abbott and Governor Ducey for leading the charge and basically building a coalition of states to speak out about this, because the more we bring this up, the more we talk about it, at least the American people will be made aware of what's going on the border and how it affects them. Clearly, the administration doesn't want to talk about it. They're ignoring it. A lot of the media ignores it. And so what the governors are doing, I think, is great, and I applaud them, and I hope they continue this effort.
There are some Democratic lawmakers speaking out about this, though. Some who are facing re-election challenges, also some who are in border states. But some Democratic Senate hopefuls are split with the president on this border, of course, as Politico suggests here. 6 more Senate candidates have joined growing Democratic calls for the administration to come up with a more detailed plan before revoking the pandemic-era border restrictions. Do you think the White House will listen to these Democratic senators and the concerns they share?
You know, the White House has shown no indication that they care what anybody else thinks, whether it's Republicans, Democrats, whether it's the courts, whether it's the states. They have a plan to get as many people here as possible. They've got a partner along the border, the cartels. Cartels know that if they can bring as many people here as possible, they'll make more money for every person they bring. They'll import more drugs. The White House takes the handoff at the border because these people are not running. You saw some of these people running, but most of these people are turning themselves into border agents, and then we take the handoff and transplant. They're not following court orders. I mean, we're dealing with a constitutional crisis here. We have a president that is doing his own thing. That's not the way this country was set up.
There were more than 220,000 encounters for the month of March, but we're also learning more details as to who some of these individuals might be. We're learning that at least 23 of them were on the terror watch list, who were detained by Border Patrol agents recently. And this is what Congressman Chip Roy's office is putting out. He shared that 42 people on the terror watch list has been arrested at our border since Biden was sworn in. More importantly, how many more dangerous suspects were in the over 600,000 known gotaways who evaded law enforcement because Biden and Mayorkas refused to secure our border. Is this a national security concern here, the fact that there could be some really bad people crossing into this country illegally?
Yeah, I've been talking about this from the beginning of the Biden administration's policy. They don't vet people. They invite everybody. And so those are just the ones we've caught that we know are terrorists. Imagine how many we haven't caught, because clearly if you're a terrorist, you're not one of those people turning yourself into a border agent. You're evading. So I think we're going to have consequences from this. More people are going to be affected by this, potentially terrorist activity in the United States. And the Biden administration knows this, and they accept it as part of the trade to get more cartel people moving into our country.
Wow, unbelievable. Ken Paxton joining us with the very latest on that. Thank you, Attorney General. We appreciate your time.